Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show tonight. Tonight's guest, we have Glenn Stewart on the show tonight, and he's a returned citizen back to society. He did his time in the Department of Correction and Rehabilitation. He paid his debt to society. He's coming back into the community amongst the people, and we want the people to know who he is and what his future goals are. So we want to bring on Glenn Stewart, Darnell Stewart, excuse me, and allow him to tell society who he is. Welcome to the show, my brother.
I'm glad to be here.
We're glad to have you. Welcome home, first of all.
Yes, it's a blessing just to be home after all this time.
It was a journey. It was a journey. But you made it.
Yes.
A lot of folks didn't make it, my brother. But you made it, And I say again, welcome home. Right.
I appreciate it because it is a blessing to be home, just to wake up every morning.
Right.
Breathe this air seems so different.
On this side of the fence.
On this side of the fence.
Yeah.
When I first came home, I went to the BART station. I was home about an hour. I went to San Francisco BART station on Powell Street. And I was just sitting there, just breathing in this air, and the air tasted so fresh. I could taste the air. It was so fresh.
Right.
And tears came from my eyes, too, because it was a joy that I thought I'd never see again.
Right.
And sometimes I feel like I was resurrected, because I feel like I was with the living dead, now I'm back with the living again.
Exactly. Let me ask you a few questions because, I like to tell the community, society, this show is for us returned citizens, not returned from incarceration, returned citizens. And we want people to know who we once were and who we are now. The person who we once were, we don't even exist no more, right? So let me ask you a few questions. What did you go to prison for?
I went to prison for 2 counts of murder and kidnap.
Okay. And you did how much time in prison?
I did 34 and a half years.
Okay. Now, when you went to prison, you must have been a young man.
I was 29.
29 years old. And you went into prison. Was this your first time in prison?
First time.
Okay. So you had to adjust to a society that you knew nothing about.
True.
Real quick.
Real quick.
Because at the time you went to prison, it was rock and roll. It wasn't nothing pleasant about it.
Oh, it was killing and stabbing.
Right. So where did you start your time?
I started my time in Old Folsom.
Old Folsom. And you came to prison from what county?
I came to prison from Alameda County.
Alameda County. Okay. And you went into Old Folsom. At that time, Old Folsom was set up to where you had to be a certain age going into Folsom at that time. And like I say, it was a rock and roll at that time. It wasn't nothing nice about prison. So going into prison, you did a change, and you had to survive to make it through the Old Folsom. How long you stay in Old Folsom?
I stayed in Old Folsom from 82 to 90.
Okay. And in 90, you left from Old Folsom and you went where?
I went to Solano.
Okay. You went to Solano. How long did you stay in Solano?
I stayed in Solano for 25 years.
Okay. And did you parole from Solano?
Yeah, parole from Solano.
Okay. So you was on the same yard in Solano for 25 years?
I was on the same yard for like 26 years.
26 years. Okay. And you, at some time...
Correct. Can I correct
Sure
that?
you can.
I was only in Solano 25 years, so I was on one yard, facility 1, for like 21 years. The other 4 years, 3 years I did on yard 2, and 1 year I did on yard 3.
Okay.
But all of it was in Solano.
In Solano, okay. So when you left Old Folsom, that was like, oh, what a relief.
Yeah.
Oh, what a relief leaving Old Folsom. Because seeing the things that you saw over the period of years in Old Folsom and getting to Solano, that's like a culture shock.
See, when I was in Old Folsom, I went from Old Folsom. In 1988, I went to New Folsom for a year, but it's still Folsom. That's why I call it Old Folsom,
Right.
all of it. But when I got to Solano, people was laying on the grass. And in Old Folsom, if you lay down, you're dead.
Yeah.
So I thought I was seeing stuff that was scaring me. People laying on the grass, wearing short pants, eating on the grass, sleeping on the grass. It spooked me because I thought it was real dangerous.
Right.
But it come out to be peaceful.
Right. Well, that's what I say. It's like a culture. It's completely different from what you left from Old Folsom and went into Solano. it's completely different from day and night.
Yeah, it was a different
Yeah,
transition.
yeah. You got big old boom boxes on the yard, and you got people laying on the grass with shorts on.
Yeah.
And old folks, that didn't happen.
No, on Old Folsom, you wear a thick navy like pea coat.
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
you drink coffee and you stay on the yard all day. Shots are going down.
Exactly.
People getting stabbed.
Exactly.
Innocent people getting shot.
Right. So in your time that you did, you had to adjust a few times, right? Because when you're going into that system, you had to adjust to survive, right? Then when you left Old Folsom and you went to Solano, you had to readjust again to survive, to kind of fit in, to program a different type of way because you left Old Folsom. That's like a war zone.
Yes.
Right. So you had to leave from there, from war zone, and go into a society where people are programming. People going to school, people going to work, people got different things that they're doing to try to program you out of prison. So how did you do that?
Well, when I was in Old Folsom, I picked up my first job.
Mm-hmm.
I picked my first job because I was on the yard one day and somebody got killed.
Mm-hmm.
And they laid us all down. An old man named David Hamilton used to work in the custody office. And he saw me and he said, you want a job? And I said, yes. I took the job and I went I went inside the custody complex, but that's where the job was at. So that was my first job. And when I took that job because it was like you said, it was very hectic back then. Blacks is being called out. That's real racist. Blacks is being called out and being stabbed. So what I did, they asked me to take the job so the blacks don't get hurt. So what I did, I took the job, and then I went around because I'm still new. I ain't been there 6 months. So I walked around the building with somebody that been there a while, and I met all the different fractions of blacks, different fractions from everywhere. And I asked him, I said, I'm gonna have this job if it's all right with y'all. And I said, when you get a visit, I'm gonna call one of you guys that actually work down there to go up there and get the other brothers to go on their business so they can be safe and y'all know it's me. So that's how I got my first job. And I stayed in that job for like 3 years. And after everybody got to know me, I put another brother in my place. And I moved up to assignments and I started signing people to jobs, signing them to school, signing them to industries, different jobs. And I did that long as I was in Folsom.
Okay. So you left from Folsom and you went to Solano. And what year was that?
I went to Solano. I got there June the 9th, 1990.
Okay, you were in the ninth.
June 9th,
Okay.
1990.
Okay. Went to Solano, and you went to Solano, and then you live in a different type of way now.
Yes, when I went to Solano, it was more relaxed. I mean, it wasn't a lot of gunshots. It wasn't a lot of people getting stabbed. A lot of fights, but nothing real serious. Something that you can walk past, something I can turn, go past, right? But something that I could overlook because I didn't feel threatened like I used to about my life being taken.
Right.
So I stayed there I got there June the 9th. I got a job July the 28th, 4 days after my birthday in 1990. And
that was pretty quick to get a job.
Yes, my resume said it.
Compared to Old Folsom.
Yeah, because my resume said it because I was disciplinary free when I was back there, and I took a job when it was hectic and stuff like that. People were scared to take the jobs, but I needed something to do because I wasn't gang affiliated, so I needed to be away from all of that.
Right.
So I took the job in Solano, and I stayed in that same job for 25 years until I paroled.
Okay. Okay.
What I did was I trained a lot of people, the youngsters that I ran across. Instead of seeing them getting in gangs, they had 5 years, 3 years, stuff like that. I'm a lifer, and they used to try to hang around the lifers trying to fit in.
Right.
And when you around I'm gonna just say, when I around a lot of lifers, when I was younger and I was new in prison, I wanted to let them know that I was qualified to do whatever needed to be done if it's to protect blacks. So when I got to Solano years after that, I was a little educated on how prison life is. Instead of letting the youngsters go out there and take the risks I did, because I was in there for those 2 murders, I didn't think I was going home. I took chances.
Right.
The youngsters got 2, 3, 4, 5 years. I actually encouraged them to go to school, get trades, go to school, things like that. That's what I did. So I made my mission in prison was to just look out for the youngsters. 'Cause
Right.
the older guys was already doing this. And then some of the I've been there so long,
Right,
I
right.
adopted the youngsters like they was my children.
Right.
Because I got kids their age. And I've been locked up so long, I didn't know how to communicate with them. But those youngsters showed me how to communicate. So when I
Right, right.
came out here today, they did educate me. So when I came in, I knew how to talk to my sons and to
Right.
my daughters because they was all around close to the same ages.
Right, right, right.
When they used slang, I knew what it meant.
No, no, what the man.
Because otherwise, I'd be trying
It'd be
to
low.
find a dictionary to find out what it
Yeah,
meant. But
yeah.
I did a lot of that. But for the most part of it, Mr. Wendell, I got tired of just running around,
Right.
playing pinochle,
Right.
playing basketball. And then so I seen more interest for me is just to help the youngsters. I mean, the OGs like Mr. Bailey, ones like that, I always had a utmost respect for them. But I say this to you, even though much respect that I had for them, and they and the props and the way they treated me, I couldn't keep that to myself,
Right,
man.
right.
I wouldn't embrace them little youngsters like that. I went to the Crips, the Bloods, the Coomies, the little Jamas, the unaffiliated, all the little tough, wanna-be tough guys that want to prove themselves. I put them on the baseball team,
That's right.
and I coached it. I named them the Ass Kickers.
Okay,
And what I do, I used to sit there and talk to them. And I got some kind of way, I got peace among them where they can stop fighting each other.
Right, right,
And I stopped at that for like 10 years,
right, right.
you know.
So in doing your time, you became a neutralizer, so to speak.
I did become a neutralizer. The reason I say this because when I first got to the pen, because you know, the first guy called me Cuz, and when I was in Phoenix, so I was on the run. I got arrested in Phoenix, Arizona. Everybody called me Cuz. They was some kin to me. So when I got to the pen, I never heard the word Cuz except for my cousins called me that.
Right, right.
So I called my mother before she died. I said, Mom, all my cousins in prison. Everybody calling me cuz up in there.
Right.
As soon as I used to be, because I'm from the Bay Area, as soon as I used to be where the right on brother, it became an issue.
Right,
Now I know it's what the cuz meant.
right,
So the other dudes, the Bloods, came and pulled me up out of it.
right,
When they pulled me up out of it, and then so I went back later on and talked to the other guys, the other gang members, and told them I didn't mean no harm by that. I'm
Right,
from the Bay
right.
Area. This is how we talk. We
Right.
use every letter in the alphabet.
Right.
It don't mean anything to us.
right,
And then after I figured that point out, then I started just associating a little bit, just so I can get past every day without feeling threatened. Because when I go to these other buildings to get you for your visit or tell you about your package or tell you some news you need to hear, I want to be able to walk by myself.
right,
And I was able to do that. And I never had a problem doing it. And as long as I was able to do it, I built a relationship with all the different groups. So what happened one day, I was at work, and the sergeant from the hole, his name was Roy Ball. I remember, he was a brother. He called me to the law library, and I didn't know who he was. And then so I went to the law library. I went, and he said, "Your name Darnell Stewart?" And I said, "Yes." And he put a whole lot of photos on the table, and I said, "Wait a minute." I'm thinking, what's this?
Who's the Goon Squad?
Yeah.
Okay.
I said, the sergeant, just like the goons, what's in the hole? And I said, and I ain't never been to the hole at that time. And I said, "What's this? I ain't gonna point nobody out. What you doing?" He said, "No. He said, "These guys in the hole heard about you." I said, "What they hear about me?" They said they heard about how I calmed the line down, me. And I started getting brothers from Frisco, Oakland, the Bay Area. You know, we started being, trying to change things. To make,
Neutralizer.
yeah, turn everything black.
neutralize, right.
We ain't gonna be killing each other, man. Come on. We kill each other, then they gonna kill us too.
Exactly.
So he told me this, right? And he told me that the CCOs, the BGF, the Crips and the Bloods, the high profile ones is coming out the hole. And they wanted to make sure that I can make sure they can get on the line. And I said, who they think I am? But then they say, well, they asked you. Out of all the people in prison, they asked me.
Right.
So what I did, I went to my resources, I can say comrades, the ones I created, because all of them was going to school, work, and everything else. And then we seen that them guys got on the line until they got back functioning so we can break off. So we didn't just hook in, we just got them back to where they wanted to so we can have the respect that we deserve. Because if I earned it and they know I earned it like that, I want to let them know I appreciate it by doing what I did. And I did my part. When I did that, I don't know, because guys be in prison, like you say, they know everything. They know what's out here. They know what's in every prison. They can make things happen.
Sure.
But my name was like, if I say silver and gold, it would be like diamonds. It was real good.
Let me ask you a question. When you first came into the system, you was a young man,
Yeah, I was 29.
21. Okay, you going into Old Folsom State Prison. Okay, you had to kind of like earn your way
Yes.
to get in.
I had to
You
work.
just couldn't
I
get in.
worked slow
You had to get real slow to get to the point to where you are
today.
now, coming out of prison.
Yeah.
So, in going into the system, you had to form a certain type of way of living. So, that took a period of time. During that period of time, did you go to school?
I went to work right away because I had a GED, so
You
I
went
didn't
to,
go
went
to
to
school.
work right away. So, you got a job right away. Because, I mean, at that time in prison, it took a little while to go to school. You couldn't just go to school.
And then plus it took a while to get a job because so many
Exactly.
people was on lockdown.
Exactly. You know, and then we had, at that time, see, prisoners was given jobs. Simenoff wasn't given jobs.
Right. See, that's the job I had.
Right.
I had the 103B
Right.
cards. I had everybody card. I had their pictures and what they in prison for.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I got into this. I worked my way up to the assignment office, and I would come around to your cell, and I would ask you. I say, man, you want a job? You say, yeah, I ain't never did so and so. I never did this. I never worked in metal fab or any other job, no kind of industries, or worked on a law yard and gardens. I said, that's all right. I know somebody that's gonna show you. If you want the job, I'll get you out this cell. And I used to help people get a lot of jobs, and I did that for about 7 years, you know, and then once I started getting jobs and people seen that they can get the job and stay out of trouble and still be respected at the same time, everybody looked for me.
So, we want to get back to you coming into the system first off.
When I first came into the system, Mr. One day, you know what I told my mother? I'm going to tell you what happened. First, when I left the county jail, I talked to some old convicts, and they said the last thing you're going to see is a Circle K, and the bus going to turn to go up a Hill, and you're going to see Boot Hill. So I looked and I seen a graveyard over there. And by me having these 2 life sentences, I said, damn, I hope I don't be in that graveyard, right? So anyway, we got to the top of the hill at Folsom, right? It's like a big, gigantic castle, and the door gotta be 6 inches or 12 inches thick. I know it was thick. And when it opened up, it sounded like one of those monster movies. It go squeak like that, right? And when it closed, it slammed, it echoes. So anyway, we walked in this building. We walked through a kitchen and 2 building, I remember. No, first we got off the bus at R&R, and the police got off the bus, and they start threatening us, talking about what they would do to us, and this is our prison. If you do this and do that, what we'll do to you. So it took us and we got undressed. I ain't never been undressed like this. I got undressed. They wanted me to cough, bend over and crack my behind and all this. I'm naked. I go through the metal detector, don't make no noise. It's a dude named Robert Cornelius. I've been knowing him all my life. He went through the metal detector naked, and the alarm went off. And they kept messing with him. But I'm new. And because he one of my old neighbors from the street, I'm thinking they messing over him. Then so I said, hey man, you see he ain't got nothing. But I didn't know they'd stick stuff up in him at the time. I don't know nothing about this. So they took him to the hole. I seen him about 6 months later. And he told me he had a knife. And I was wondering where he put it at, because I couldn't believe that you can do nothing like that.
Yeah, keeps it there.
At that time, I didn't know nothing about keystering. We went over to the building I was going to go to. It was one building in Old Folsom. And I looked up in the air like this. As far as I can see was floors. They call them tiers. I call them floors. And I seen all these red and blue lights, but I don't know they rags from giving games, but they were. So I told my mother when I called her, I said, Mama, I said, I'm in a room so small that I can put my back up against the wall and my feet can touch the other side.
That's right.
And when I use the bathroom, my knees be up against the toilet.
That's right.
It ain't no door, ain't no curtain.
That's right.
I told her, I said, I feel like I'm in a casket with the top open. I hate for them to close it. You know, that's how I was feeling. And then for a long time, and then the next morning it was time to wake up to eat. I didn't know how to eat. So I woke up and I seen all these people passing by. I asked my bunkie was out of San Diego, and he was new too, so we both was new, so we made a bond to stick together, me and him. And when they was going to eat, I woke up, I said, man, where they going? Let's follow them, because everybody leaving. I didn't want to get left behind. I didn't know what was going on. So we followed the crowd. That's how we found the kitchen. And the first day I went in the kitchen, we in lines, we sat down to eat, and some people was over there. I thought they was fighting, but they were stabbing each other. And the police fired a shot and shot both of them in the kitchen. By me being new, I don't know no better. I jump up under the table. I bump my head all on the table. But the people that they've been there a long time, they didn't even move. They kept eating. They didn't,
It's normal.
they didn't drop nothing off their spoon.
Normal,
Yeah. But after a few minutes, I was just like they were. I was able to sit there.
Well, you adapted to the way you had to live.
Yeah.
But see, like I said, going into the system, you know, you had to adapt to the way that time was then. But then when you went to Solano, you had to adapt again to a different type of way of living. And you got kind of like lax, and you got a job, and you did programs. You started doing programs to get out of prison. Because at one time in prison, you know, you wasn't coming home. They had a blanket list from Gray Davis and Pete Wilson on where you got out of prison is in the Pine Box.
Yeah.
You know, so there wasn't nobody coming home. So after that kind of like died out, and then later on it came, Arnold Schwarzenegger came in, and people started getting dates a little bit.
Yeah.
And it kind of got like peeling off
They did about 8 a year, something like
yeah,
that.
but people were getting out.
Yeah.
Remember, wasn't nobody getting out for a long period of time.
I know.
Right? People wasn't even going to board. I didn't go to board one year because they
Yeah.
wasn't even a date. You see, so you start preparing to come home. So what did you do when you started preparing to come home? Did you start going to these programs?
When I started preparing to go home, the first thing I did, I went to the psychologist, the psych, and I told her psych I had issues. I told her psych I had issues. I said I've been having dreams about some of the people I killed, ghosts coming in my room, looking at me, and I'll be scared to go to sleep. It's things like this. So what the psych did, they put me in a stress management. I asked could I get some help. I took stress management first. I stayed in there for it was a 12-week course. I stayed in there. From then, I went right on to anger management so I can work on my anger.
Is that CADX?
No, it wasn't. I didn't do the CADX.
Okay.
Because at CADX, you had to go to a CMC
Okay.
at the time, and I had enemies in CMC.
Okay.
You know, people that told on me, so they wouldn't let me go. But I did the anger management. I kind of liked it that, so I stayed there. I did a double up on it because I liked it because I learned how to speak,
Okay.
talk about myself.
Okay.
Then I worked on victim awareness, where I can understand the victim, you know, put myself in their shoes, you know, so, and the ripple effect of my actions. I started learning things like that. I took criminal thinking, I did that. So all that negative thinking I was doing, and when I started thinking like I used to, if I don't do it, but if that decide it was to happen, I know how to breathe,
Right.
let some oxygen get to my brain.
You know, you know how to detour that.
I know how to walk away too, but peer pressure wouldn't affect me
Right.
like that.
Right.
See, I was trying to learn how to man up. It wasn't just because of my age, just being a man, because I'm grown, I can say what I want to say. That ain't how it was with me.
Right.
That's how it used to be. Now, today, is you can be 19 and tell me something. If it's the right thing, I'm going to take your advice.
Sure.
So what I did, I took criminal thinking also, and like I said, victim awareness. I did substance abuse twice. And I got most improved in that because I wasn't afraid to speak and talk about me because I like to use I statements.
Right.
You know, because I had to, see, we go before the board, I can't talk about us. It's all got to be about Darnell Stewart.
Right, you.
And I took denial management because I had to learn how to avoid the question
You took
asked me.
what now?
Denial management.
management,
That's
okay.
the one where you asked me a question that I didn't give you the answer to because you know the answer. And I tell you, well, let's talk about this here. See, I avoid, and I was avoiding. I learned how not to avoid, not to compare or shift the blame like he worse than me. I didn't do that bad. But denial management really for me was just taking responsibility for your actions. I mean, I did that, and I really liked it. Then I took family relationships because I've been away from my family so long
Right.
that I wanted to be able to connect with
Right.
them. And knowing my family gonna love me anyway, but I wanted them to trust me because my past record, I didn't want them to feel like I'm dangerous.
Right.
You know, and then I wanted their support. Right, so Oh, I did. I went and got baptized too.
Okay.
You know, I did that before I even went to. I left it out. That's the first thing I did before I went to the site.
Okay.
Because I wanted to kind of straighten myself out, and I stood up in Passport to Purpose. I did that because I wanted to give my spiel about my life. Because I wanted to let everybody know I walked around prison for many years playing dominoes, getting high. But when I decided to turn my life around, I pulled that fake mask off. I stood in front of, I got up in front of about 300 people in the visiting room because I facilitated. They needed him to talk, and he didn't want to talk. So I said, let me go up there because I feel good. And I did like this, Mr. Wendell. I turned my back to everybody, and I put my hands up like this, and they was wondering what I was doing. I paused for a second just to get their attention. I did like this.
Took it off. Took the mask off.
Threw it in the garbage can. I said, y'all used to call me Life because I was doing that time, but you can call me Darnell Stewart today. And from that point on, I've been looking toward freedom, looking toward being a better person. And then they asked me, what did I want to do with the kids when I go there? I told them what I want to do. I want to use all my experience, not to start a Scared Straight program, but talk about some things that give a child, give a kid another chance, like go to juvenile hall and talk about multiple choices they can use. Because when I was coming up, my family gave me the multiple choices, but when I started making decisions on my own, I didn't go to nobody. I didn't ask nobody nothing. I just did it because I was being sneaky, the criminal thinking.
Right.
And I was trying to let a kid know in juvenile hall, he don't want to be like me.
Okay. Let me ask you this. Today, what are you doing with yourself today?
Today I'm working on myself every day. I pray every morning and night. I do a lot of volunteer work, try to give back to the community. I work for Elaine Brown right there in Oakland Garden, Oakland World Services. It's a garden thing where she do gardening right there on 7th and Campbell. Right now I'm working to go back to work for Pit Stop in San Francisco. And I go to St. Anthony's once or twice a month, pass out food to the homeless.
Okay.
And I go to San Francisco, we do a cleanup thing where we went up there in the rich people neighborhood and replanted trees.
Okay.
And then we go sometime in I'm gonna call it the hood, where we be at, where I be at. And I clean the streets up. I do the streets like that.
Okay.
I do a lot of that. And just about 2 weeks ago, we was down there, I think it was Ellis and Leavenworth, I believe it's a park down there. And we passed out about 300 or 400 backpacks to the kids from ages kindergarten to 6th grade for them to go back to school.
Okay. So right now you're out and you're giving back. You want to give back to society. You're making a difference in society.
Yes, in societies, I have so many people that come by and then told me, compliment me on what I do. You know, tourists and people from different little cities come in. You know, I found out by being patient and being polite and being humble, things come my way. So when I give, I get a lot back in return.
And that's a good feeling.
It's a beautiful feeling.
Yeah, we want, like I said, we want people to know who you are today. You know, and we're letting people know through this TV show we have here who we are today. That we went into a system years ago. We went in and we went temporarily insane. I call it.
That's what it was.
Okay, we went temporary insane. But the most ironic part about that temporary insane, we came back.
Yes.
A lot of people in society went insane and never came back.
Yes, you know what?
So we want society to know that about Darnell Stewart.
Yes, because I was temporarily insane when I went in, just like you said.
Sure.
But there's one thing, even when I was in there, all that time I was in there, I wanted to come out. I never gave up on my thoughts. I always had a dream of coming back. I never really totally said I would be here till I die. I always wanted out. Then when I seen an opportunity, I waited for Governor Brown to come back. I was hoping he came back. I prayed upon it. And the last time people got loose, he was a governor. And I believe if he wouldn't have been governor now, I would still be in there. And because he was governor and he look at all our files, because when you go to the board, they check it all over. And if you don't qualify, they won't let you. But I felt like I was coming home when I went to the site, and also when I went to the board, and they said, thank you for your candor. When they told me that, I asked them, I said, I ain't up on that word. Candor, what do it mean? My honesty.
Honesty.
The district attorney said, you can live next door to me now. When they told me that, I knew. A tear came out of
That you
my
had it.
eye.
That you
Man,
had
a tear came out.
That you had it. That's
And
right.
see, so I'm gonna spend the rest of my life making sure my grandkids and great grandkids is well. They ain't never gonna worry about me going to prison again. That ain't a place for me to be.
Right. Right.
If I go to prison, it'll be to visit someone in there and try to encourage them to come out.
Exactly.
And the shows like you're doing right now with me, I hope they see it in prison because it will incite those guys to try to get out of there, not to give up.
Right.
Because if I can do my program and turn my life around with 2 murders and a kidnap, this guy's never one murder or attempt to murder. They've been in it longer than me. I mean, other words, I'm saying don't give up. You know what I mean? My sister had believed in me. I had faith in myself. But I found out too, when people come to see you and you let them know you have a little, first they don't want you to give up anyway.
Right. Right.
But when they hear me talking about I want to come home, then they start giving you more.
Right. Right.
And when they start giving me more, it make me feel more.
Exactly.
And the more I feel, the more I do.
Exactly.
That's like you say, what I'm gonna do for the children, the more I give them, the more they're gonna grow.
Right. Right.
And see,
Well, Mr. Stewart, we want to commend you for the work that you do. You know, we want to, like I say, welcome home back to the society, what you're supposed to be in. We want to commend you on all the service that you do, right? And we want to bring you back in some months or maybe a year to let society know what you're doing then, okay, opposed to what you're doing now. So we want to thank you for coming on today. You know, we want to keep society up on what you're doing for the future and commend you on everything, my brother. You know, and we want to let society know that, you know, we have people coming on our show that's done a long period of time behind the walls of somebody's prison in the state of California. And they went in at one time in their life and they had a different mind thought, opposed to who they are today and the mind thought they have today. And we want you as a community, as a society, as the neighbors, to see these guys walking around in San Francisco and walk around in your city, in their city, and know that they are right. You know, they did their time to society, they paid their debt to society, and they're home now, and this is where they're going to be in our communities. So, you know, look around, you know, these guys have done their time, and they're just as gentle and kind as anyone else that's in society. Look out for the person that's sleeping on the street or doing something other than what they're not supposed to be doing, opposed to these gentlemen that's coming on. These guys are the one that's going to help you across the street with your bags when you need help. These guys are going to help you when somebody's clamming in your window. They're going to make sure that window's closed or they can't get in the window to get your stuff out of your house that you work for. These are the guys that we're dealing with today. So we have returned citizens to society. We want to welcome them home and, you know, be part of your community. Go in your communities and clean up the communities that need to be cleaned up. We want to thank you for coming on the show tonight, Mr. Stewart, and we wish you the very best of whatever you do.
can I say something?
Yes, sir.
You know what? You said something a while ago, and something I missed, because you said a whole lot then. Because the ripple effect of my action affected a lot of people. And I thought it was just affecting me and maybe the person I did it to. But it didn't just affect me, it affected the victims' families. And every time their birthdays come, they think about their kids, family units. Then I didn't even look at my own family. When I left, my baby daughter, she was 6 months old. When I came back, she was 35 years old, 5 kids and married. And now I got a granddaughter by her. See, so I missed a lot too.
A lot of people.
You know, like,
Yes.
see, you be saying words that bring things out of me that I didn't plan to say, or it wasn't just up there, because like the ripple effect of what my past was, you know. But now today, I'm a happy man,
There you go. There you
because every time I wake up, as long as the Lord let me wake up in the morning, I can work it out.
That's right. That's right.
I can work it out.
That's right. Well, thank you, Mr. Stewart. Thank you for coming on the show.
Yeah,
And
thank
thank
you,
you,
too.
audience, and tuning in on next Saturday at 7 o'clock on Channel 29, Thursday at 6:30 on Channel 76. We'll have a guest coming on, and it'll be a live interview, so you'll be able to see him and talk to him about the time that he did in prison, innocent man. After 10 years, he's out free by the district attorney. We'll have the district attorney on the show in weeks to come, and we'll have the homicide inspector that arrested him on in weeks to come, and he'll be able to tell his story as well. So thank you, and have a good weekend.